Hey everybody, what's up? Hope you all are doing good today, and thanks for tuning into the channel. Much appreciated. And today we're going to continue the series that I've been doing on sort of bait modifications, sort of secret baits. Some of this stuff that I'm talking about is more secret than others. I think most people probably aren't real familiar with it. A small percentage of people are, but there are a lot of things that I've been using for a long time that I'd like to share with you that I just haven't talked about that much in the past. And today what we're going to talk about is finesse swim baits. Particularly the bait that I'm talking about today is the Megabass Hazendong Shad, which is this right here. And the reason that I'm talking about this is truly probably the finessiest swim bait that there is on the market. And I'm going to compare it with some other ones here and sort of show you how I rig it as compared to the other small swim baits and why it's better at certain conditions. First of all, if you guys are interested in ordering any of this stuff, I've included the Fish the Moment Tackle Warehouse link. You guys, if you order through there, Johnny and I get a small percentage of those profits, which is much appreciated. So let's get into this a little bit. First of all, small swim baits. Small swim baits have probably been one of the hottest lures in fishing period over the last 5 years. The technology behind them has really taken off. A lot of companies make a lot of small swim baits that look really good, and they're super versatile lure. People use them on Alabama rigs, they use them on jig heads, they use them for drop shotting sometimes. Really good drop shot bait for smallmouth. So there's a lot of different ways that you can fish them, and they catch a lot of fish. I mean, they resemble the size of bait fish that a lot of fish feed on, particularly this time of year on the Clearwater lakes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the comparison here. Here's the one that I'm talking about today. This is the Megabass Hazendong Shad. It's fairly narrow type bait. Across the back you can see truly a finesse swim bait. And this is compared to this is the Kitech 2.8 inch Kitech, which is one of the, probably the most popular little swim bait in the country. And here's the Hazendong Shad next to it. And this is even more finessey than the Megabass 3-inch Spark Shad. If you guys are familiar with that, I've talked about it. You can see how much wider across the back it is between the two. So just a different profile on it. This is probably the most diminutive swim bait out there. The times this thing really shines is if you got clear water, water visibility over 3 feet deep, and if you've got a mixed species of bass, smallmouth, largemouth, and spotted bass in the lake. That's when it works really good. Although you can catch them on lakes on straight smallmouth, straight spotted bass, or straight largemouth. It's just really good in the clear water when that water temperature is between 45 and 55 degrees. Main thing I want to do is I want to show you my rigging tip with it today, how I rig this up a little bit differently here. Here's the one I've got rigged just stock out of the package. It's got the Megabass Hazendong Shad head on it, which is the one I normally use. And you can see that bait looks great like that. It really does, looks awesome. But I'm going to show you what I like to do a little bit, and I'm going to compare the two. First of all, what I like to do is when I come in and I cut the head off just behind the eyes on the Hazendong Shad to where it's like that. So I'm taking about 1/4 of an inch off of it. And what this does, it's a couple different things. Not only it makes the bait even smaller, but it gives me a flat surface with no eyes on it, because as you can see this one right here, you've got four set of eyes on the bait right there. And if you're somebody like me that's really into detail, there's not many bait fish out there that have 4 eyes. Not that that is going to make a big difference, but sometimes it can. I know you could take the eyes off, but what happens is when you set it flat across like that, it gives it a different profile. And one thing to remember, guys, is when you guys are threading your little swim baits on, try to see the hook there through the plastic. You can probably see it. I'm coming right along the top of the swim bait, because what this does is if you rig it up where you come right along that top, that gives you more bite gap. You don't have, see how I've got it right against the top? If I came in the middle part of it, like up higher, like right here, if I came in like up in this area here, I've actually taken about a 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch out of my bite gap. So come in high on the thing, make sure you got it rigged straight. You got to get this thing absolutely perfect in order for it to run right. So we've got it set up about like this. And look in the translucent, see how high I've got that hook along the back, and look how much more bite gap that I have right here. So another thing is, see how neat that fits against the head like that? Really cool setup. And I'm going to compare it to the two. So you notice the stock one, how most people fish it, and the way that I've got it rigged has a little bit more natural. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do with it is I've got my chartreuse marking pen, and I'm going to come right along the side, and I'm going to mark a chartreuse line down the side of the bait here. And what this does, on this, I like to use this clear one. Megabass makes a lot of different colors to this bait, but I really like this little, more the translucent one. A little chartreuse, a little bit, not much, just a little puff of chartreuse on the tail. Man, I'm telling you guys what, this is a fish catching bait right here. So I want to show you the before and after. Here's the stock Megabass out of the package. Here's my modification, and you can see the two up close there. Now, if you were a bass, which one would you hit? Just looking at those two baits, which is the better one? And I'm telling you guys right now, when you're dealing with clear water and you're dealing with highly pressured, finicky fish, these are the things, these modifications are the ones that's going to add up to more bites. You may get a fish 2, maybe 3 a day extra, but that's why I like to modify right there. You know, everyone throws this, nobody throws that. You know, just a lot better setup on there. So anyway, like I said, there it is. That's my Finesse swim bait. That is like a morsel that they can't resist. It's like candy to the bass. This is the time of year you want to fish it. As soon as that water temperature starts to rise, which it is right now, mid 40s to mid 50s, concentrate on your secondary points and main points both. Overstanding timber in the middle of ditches, catch a lot of fish on it, reeling it next to boat docks. Anywhere that just a typical pre-spawn area, especially if you have a heavy spotted bass concentration in your lake. And other times I just go down the bank with it. If I'm on a clearwater lake, say for example Lake Cherokee, over in Tennessee, I just go down the banks with it, just throw it out there. As soon as it hit the water, just start reeling it real slow. I throw the Megabass whip snake spinning rod, 6 foot 10 inch medium fast tip on it, 6 pound test line. You definitely want to go with 6 on this. You'll notice a huge difference on how the bait feels and how it casts with the 6 versus the 8. So you get a lot more bites and distance with the 6. And like I said, this is the 1/8 ounce Okashira Megabass jig head on there. So that combination of the 6 pound test line and the little small swim bait is deadly. But man, I'm telling you guys right here, I have ripped them on this thing. This is just such a deadly little bait here that you just can't resist. And like I said, most people throw the Kitex. I mean, these fish are so conditioned to the round body of the Kitex that they just don't see this little shad profile. And which one looks like more of a shad to you guys? I mean, if you thought, shad have flat bellies across the back on them like that. They don't have rounded bellies. So sometimes that makes a big difference. Sometimes it doesn't. If the fish are eating, you don't have to do any of that stuff. But rarely are they super hungry and they're in an aggressive feed mood. Most of the time you have to coax these bass into biting, and sometimes the little finesse approach really works good. So give it a try. 3-inch Megabass Hazendong shad, Okashira jig head behind it, and it's definitely going to get you bit a lot when you throw it this spring. So talk to you guys later. See you.